the Empire State Building. Hello, cat. Is it friendly? Ooh, there's a cat.
What's up? It's Mel. So tonight is gonna be my New York City travel vlog. Basically the reason that I went to New York is, well, my friend Abby and I went, and the main purpose was for me to get a tattoo, and we decided to make it like a 2-day overnight kind of trip. Basically we came on Monday the 6th and we left the next day around like 7 or 8 o'clock. I got my tattoo on the first day, and then the second day was just like a sightseeing kind of day. So the trip started out with us almost missing the train. Basically the reason why was that I usually get places like way early, like at least 15 minutes early or something, and I didn't want to leave like too early for this. So I ended up, like, it's only about like a 20-minute drive, like a 15 or 20-minute drive to the train station from my house. So I was like, oh, we'll just leave like 20 minutes before the train gets there. Or maybe I did 25, I don't remember. But basically what happened, I don't usually wear makeup during the day, like just during a usual day, but since I was filming, I decided to wear it this time. But I didn't give myself enough time to actually get ready. So I did my makeup and then realized that like it was time to go already, and I wasn't even dressed yet, I was just in my pajamas. So I literally stopped halfway through my makeup, which is why you can see that only one eye has mascara on it, and just threw my clothes on, and me and Abby got out of there. I think we got there at 8:38, like into the parking garage, and the train was supposed to leave at 8:47. So, you know, you would think that we had enough time, but the train got there early, I guess, because like this has literally never happened to me before. We got into the station and I looked at the departures board, and it literally said like regional rail to New York City, or it's the one to Boston, I think, but it stops in New York, obviously. It was like last call or now boarding or something like that, so I was like, shit. I just saw what track it was on, and we ran up there, and the train was already there. It was just sitting there. There was no one on the platform anymore, and the two conductor-y type people were just standing around like waiting, I guess. So I wasn't even sure it was the right train, but it was the one to New York, and it was there around the time it was supposed to be. So I was like, this is our train, because the trains to New York don't really run that often. Like, I'd say there's probably one every hour. I don't know, I might be wrong about that, but like, they're not like a commuter train that comes by every 20 minutes or something like that. So it had to be the right one. So I asked them, I was like, is this a train in New York? And they were like, yeah, train 172. So I was like, alright, that's us. And we got on and sat down, and I was like, woo, we made it, you know, like, woo. But then I started to get paranoid. I was like, what if this is not the right train? So I went through my email to pull up the train tickets, which, you know, I'd need anyway to show the conductor and everything. And I looked at the number, and it said 172, but I was like, did they say 142 or 172? But I couldn't really remember, so I walked back off the train and went up to them. I was like, what number did you say, 142 or 172? And they were like, 172. So I was like, oh, okay, good. And I got back on and sat down again, and I was like, alright, we're safe, we're good. And pretty soon after that, the train left the station, and then the conductor came around for our tickets, and I showed him like the little scanny, the QR code thing, and he was like, oh, I don't think that's the right ticket. So I was like, uh-oh. And I realized, like, I'm going to New York again for the day, March 24th, and so the tickets that I had pulled up was that one, and the number that I'd looked at for the train was also that number. So I was like, damn. The conductor guy was like, let me just look it up by your last names, and it came up. So then I could relax. Not a great start to the trip, honestly. And then I had made sure I had the money that I needed for my tattoo before we left, but then all of a sudden I got really paranoid, like, what if I didn't bring the money? Because that would have been real bad. So I checked, and yeah, I had the money. But literally this chick put her seat back, like she'd just gotten on the train, and I was like, bruh, who puts their seat back on the train? Like, it's not like a weird thing to do, but I feel like whenever I've been on the train, no one puts their seat back. And it was kind of annoying, so we ended up actually going back a row, and then literally someone else got on the train and put their seat back, and of course it was the one in front of my seat. At this point, I think we past like Newark, not the airport, just the train station, so you could see New York City like sort of in the distance. And I was trying to show it. Yeah, you can see it there. There's One World Trade Center. But yeah, it was kind of, I kept trying to get a shot and then it would be behind buildings. I always thought it was pretty cool being able to see New York City, but also like the marshland that surrounds it. It's always weird to think that New York City is on just like a marsh. But yeah, I made sure we sat on the right side of the train so we could be able to see it, because on the left side, obviously, you can't really see anything good. So at this point, we were in New York. We were pulling into Penn Station. There's like 2 stations in New York. It's kind of weird. There's Penn Station that you come into, and there's the new Moynihan train hall that you leave from. But they're just like right across the street from each other. So I always make the mistake of trying to stand up when I'm getting off the train. And not even that I'm especially tall, but it's just the ceiling's too low.
West. East? I thought you said west. That's west, you dumbass.
Imagine if Mr. Krabs called Patrick a dumbass in SpongeBob. So yeah, we got off the train, and basically the first stop that we were gonna make was the bank, which is kind of lame, but I basically had gotten like a bunch of cash together for my tattoo appointment, and I like went to the bank and make sure it was all in hundreds. There's gonna be a lot of architecture shots in this video. I just like fun looking buildings. New York City really does have a lot of cool architecture though, and like these types of fancy looking details in the buildings. I just like that kind of thing. I don't know, maybe it's boring, but I'm gonna keep showing stuff like that in this video. So yeah, but anyway, I got those hundreds together and everything just to make it more like convenient to carry the money and to count. But then he was like, can you just Venmo me the money? So I had to go deposit it. We accidentally cut the line at the Starbucks. I was really embarrassed about it, but basically we walked in and no one was being rung up. So I was like, alright, let's go up to the counter and order. No one's ordering right now, so obviously let's go order. And like the barista ringing me up gave me like this sort of weird look, but didn't say anything. And so I ordered my drink, and there were like 2 of them at the registers, and the guy was like, next customer. So I was like, Abby, you go. And she ordered, and no one said anything. And we stepped back, and then I looked over and saw like that line of people, and they couldn't have been waiting for their drinks because we got ours right away. So I was really surprised that since it's in New York City, I would have expected someone to be like, hey dumbass, there's a line here, or something like that. The tattoo studio was pretty close to the bank and the Starbucks that we went to, so it wasn't like super low. It was less than a mile for the walk, and we ended up getting there like 15 minutes early. And so yeah, I buzzed, and he ended up like, it ended up being that no one answered. So we were just like, let's go sit down, because we'd passed the Ritz, like the hotel, and there was like a courtyard with a bunch of benches. So we decided to sit down and wait. And my phone was being really weird. It was like the internet was not working. It like wasn't loading anything. It was being super slow. Like I didn't understand why, and I don't really know why even still, because it just sort of started working again after a while. But so we decided to sit and wait, and what ended up happening is we went back and I buzzed in again, like maybe 5 minutes before my appointment, because my appointment was at 12, and no one answered still. And then I realized that the shop said it was closed online, so I started to get paranoid that I was getting ripped off or something. But then he showed up right at 12 and let us in. I didn't get a chance to film any of the tattoo appointment because I had asked for permission to film, and he said he'd rather that I not film, so I just didn't film. But after the appointment was over, we went to the hotel. It took about like 3 or 4 hours, so it was probably like 5 o'clock-ish at this time. So yeah, we just checked into our hotel. It was Hotel 3232 in, I don't know if it counts as Times Square, but it was sort of like the Times Square-ish area, like within a mile of Times Square. I don't know. But I picked this room specifically because it had a balcony, and Abby really likes balconies, so that was literally like the only reason. But also, the twin bedrooms were like more expensive than a queen or even a king bed. I guess it's just because like twin beds take up more space, so the room has to be bigger. But yeah, we ended up getting just a queen size bed. It was a pretty nice hotel room, all in all. It wasn't like super expensive or anything. I think it ended up being like $250 or something. But obviously the rooms without the balcony were cheaper. The bed was comfortable. It did the job. The bathroom was pretty nice, honestly, but Abby took a shower and she said that, like, it sucked. Like, the water got running cold and stuff. I personally don't like balconies. I don't really like heights. So I stepped out onto the balcony. We went to the beach together last summer and we had a balcony on the 9th floor that just had like a metal railing with bars. And I like looked out the window and she was sitting with her legs through the bars. I was like, you're crazy. But that's what we were talking about. We ended up actually almost walking past the Empire State Building without even noticing. So there was, that was the reserve Starbucks, and I'd heard that there was one in the Empire State Building, and I thought, I had just like assumed that it was on like a high up floor, because that would be cool, right? But it wasn't, it's just on the ground floor. I thought that was kind of boring. The ground was really sparkly. I don't know if you could see that, but it was like inlaid with sparkly stuff. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Yeah, we were on our way to get dinner. At this point, we were going to a restaurant called Peachy Keen, it was like a mile away from the hotel. So we walked, but it's like a 70s themed restaurant. That looked really cool online. The menu looked really good too. So, but it was cold. Like, I was wearing a pretty nice jacket and stuff, but I didn't bring any gloves, and I regretted that because it was, like, I think it was in the 40s, which I guess, I don't know, like, I forgot how cold that is, almost. I wanted to go pet that horse, but I didn't, like, I was kind of nervous about, like, just going up and being like, can I pet your horse? But there were other people who were talking to the cop and, like, petting the horse, so I ended up not going to pet the horse. Kind of regret that, but it kind of seemed like a pain in the ass, and we had a reservation. I just made a reservation on, like, the app or something, so I was about being punctual, especially after almost being late for the train, but I think we got there 10 minutes early. So yeah, that's the restaurant from the outside. It was really cool. I slowed this video down because I took it way too fast. It's still not a very good video, but there were these two chicks who were twins or something that were like Twitch streaming the whole time that we were there. It was interesting. They gave me like the stink eye when I walked past. I don't know if they didn't like me filming or something, but it's not like I was filming them. Yeah, they're there. It's not like I was filming them or anything, so. Yeah, this was the menu. I already knew I was gonna get the pulled pork sliders though, so there really wasn't any point looking at it, but I wish I could have gotten a milkshake, but honestly, I didn't even finish the sliders, so it just would have been a waste of money to get something that I wouldn't be able to drink anyway. They had a lot of cool, like, mixed drinks, but I don't really drink alcohol, so Abby got a couple of drinks. They were like $17 each. But yeah, it was really pretty inside, and they had, like, videos of 80s, like, 70s dancing shows. That was the special cocktail that comes in, like a flashy disco ball cup.
Everyone your drink. Show your drink. No, I meant show your drink, not take a drink of your drink.
Abby got the biscuits and gravy, and we both like tried each other's stuff, obviously. Like, I gave her one of the sliders and I had a bite of her thing. The food was really good. Both of us got full really fast though. And then we just kind of hung out there for a while. And that's what I was talking about, like the 70s dancing shows. I thought it was cool. That was a sign for a play called, like, Fat Ham. I don't know what that's about, but I just thought it was funny. So we were walking back. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make the walk back, honestly, because my stomach usually hurts after I eat, like, even just a small amount of food. So I usually don't, like, eat out at restaurants, but I did this time, and we made the walk back. It ended up being fine. Abby took a picture with the Gotham Mall because she's a big Batman fan. So here's the pictures of my tattoo, since I haven't really shown it yet so far. To be honest, I was a little bit unhappy with how it came out, like, especially the pearls there. They ended up, like, I didn't expect them to look so yellow. I expected them to look more realistic. I had seen from this tattoo artist and from like a lot of other Korean tattoo artists. And we didn't like have an in-depth discussion about how it would look. Like I just trusted him to make it look good, you know what I mean? This is what it looks like now as I'm making this video. It's mostly healed. The scabs are coming off. To be honest, like I said, I wasn't happy with how the pearls looked like because they're kind of yellow. Like pearls aren't yellow. Personally, I really don't like yellow, like in tattoos. Like I have some yellow in my other tattoos. And I'm just not really about like the warm colors. I like cooler toned colors. So I had asked him to make it look a little bit whiter, and he did, but there was really only so much he could do. It was kind of too late. And so, to be honest, that sort of ruined my mood for the trip. Because, you know, I paid like an ass ton of money for this tattoo. It was the most expensive tattoo I've gotten, and that's not even considering like the cost of going to New York and the cost of the hotel and stuff like that. So to be honest, like this is the second day, and my mood just was sort of, you know, at peachy keen. Even I didn't feel that great. And also, it was really cold, and yeah, so I tried to like, you know, stay cheerful and stuff, and still have fun. But every time I would like glance down at the tattoo, I'd just be like, oh, why did this have to happen? Because I splurged on the best tattoo artist possible, and there still ended up being something that I didn't. Not to be too negative, obviously. Right now, I'm like a bit more happy with it, because as it healed, the pearls, I don't know if they don't look like super, it's not like all the yellow disappeared or something, but they do look a little bit better. Comparing the two pictures, I don't know if there's really that noticeable a difference, but I'm definitely happier with how it came out. I feel like I'll probably have to get it touched up though, because basically the top of the tattoo, the darker part, I already had, and I got it added on, like sort of reworked and added on to a little bit to make it this diamond shape overall instead of just being the filigree with the empty space. Because I'm gonna get my whole arm done in sort of like a jewelry type style, the whole front of my forearm, and I thought that with just the filigree how it was before, it would look unbalanced, and just because it would look more symmetrical and that kind of thing. And so that's why I got it done. But yeah, I am happier with it now, but it sort of brought the mood of the trip down. So we ended up getting up at like 10 something. I think I ended up staying up until like 2 a.m. I had to change the saran wrap that was on my hand. I ended up taking it off and cleaning the tattoo, obviously, and putting on second skin, which is in a clear adhesive foam bandage to, you know, just protect it, because I personally prefer to heal that way. I found a seashell in my bag. It was so random. I think I brought that bag to the beach, so that's why it was in there, but I was just reaching in for my clothes and found a seashell. My pajama pants had llamas on them. I just wanted to show that. This is my outfit for the second day. I ended up re-wearing that sweater because the shirt that I brought, it was like kind of thin, and it was even colder today than it was the day before, so I wanted to be warm. I thought the hotel key card was cute. But yeah, I was wearing skin-colored leggings underneath those pants because the pants were kind of thin, and even with that, I was still cold. I thought the wallpaper was cool. It was like newspaper articles or something. So yeah, we checked out. Checkout was at like 11, which I was grateful for because usually it's like earlier than that. Another nice architecture. We actually ended up walking through Koreatown. I was kind of surprised because like I didn't know New York City had a Koreatown. Like I knew about Chinatown obviously, but I saw that sign on the Citibank that was in Korean, and I was like, this is Koreatown. It was also super windy this day. Like, I did my hair all nice for this trip, all nice and curly and stuff, and then the wind was just constantly whipping it around all day. It held up pretty well though, but yeah, it doesn't really help when it's already cold and now it's windy too. That building there is the Edge, I think. We were actually planning on going there. It's like a sky deck. You can see like the little deck on it. We were planning on going there, but not right now, but we ended up not having time. So where we're going right now is there's the Roosevelt Island Tramway, which is like a big cable car. Actually, okay, we went to White Hall so that I wanted to check our bags so we wouldn't have to walk around like carrying backpacks all day. But we ended up not doing that because there was some like confusing shit going on. I honestly don't really understand. We went to the baggage check and the guy was like, no, it's somewhere else. And I was like, it says baggage check on the sign, so why is this not the baggage check? We ended up getting coffee from one of the little coffee stand things. I got the mocha latte, but it didn't really taste that strongly like mocha or like latte, to be honest. It just tasted like I swiped my card on the wrong side. Kind of a waste, honestly. But yeah, the latte was good though. That was my breakfast. I didn't eat anything. So it did its job. Abby was having trouble with the turnstile. So we're going to ride the Roosevelt Island Tramway, which, like I was saying, is a cable car that runs from Manhattan to Roosevelt Island. There was a lot of fluid from the tattoo that built up in the bandage. Like it probably only been on for like 8 hours. That's what I was trying to show. But we took the train because it was like the tramway station was like 2 miles from the hotel. And I was like, I ain't walking 2 miles. And we had like a limited amount of time. So we took the subway, and yeah, the tramway basically, it runs next to the Queensboro Bridge, and it's like a big cable car. I pretty much found it on Instagram and just thought it was cool. So, but Roosevelt Island also has the Renwick smallpox hospital, and it's in City of Bones in the Mortal Instruments series, which me and Abby are both fans of. So we wanted to go there because both of us like abandoned buildings. So like it's cool for that reason, but also for that book reference. So we went to ride the cable car because it was cool and to see the hospital. And I figured there'd be like a nice view of the New York City skyline too. You can see the tram coming in there. Obviously we didn't end up on that car, but they came like every 10 minutes, so there's a lot of honking going on. But I liked that lamppost. It was a cool lamppost. So the tram lines run basically right next to the Queensboro Bridge, and the Queensboro Bridge is actually in my book. Like it features kind of prominently for like a little moment in my book that I've been writing, which Abby had us listen to because I made like recordings of it and read. So it was sort of like a little reference to my book. But I thought it was cool to see for that reason too, because I'd only really like seen it in pictures. So we got a nice view of the bridge and a nice view of the different buildings. And damn, people never stop honking in New York City, honestly. It was also cool because the elevator was all glass, so you got like a nice little view of the surrounding area. I don't know, there wasn't really anything that special to look at other than the bridge, really. But I thought the buttons were kind of funny because it just said street tram, like instead of up or down. I don't know. I hit the door close button and they actually closed immediately. I read online somewhere that like most door close buttons are disabled, and like usually when you hit the door close button like nothing happens, so I was surprised that it actually closed the doors. I got kind of confused because it said like the north side wasn't working, and I wasn't sure if that meant like to the island wasn't working and only from the island was working. But there's just 2 tram cars, like 2 different, like they go back and forth, each one goes back and forth. So yeah, I know I got kind of unsure, but it ended up being fine. And I made sure that we were like right at the doors because like a lot of people ended up showing up, and I was like, we're getting a good view. I didn't pay $5 for this shit just to look at the back of someone's head. So I was like, grab onto me, Abby, we're getting on this thing immediately. But it ended up like not being a fight or anything. As you'll see, we just walked right on, literally. And people in New York don't really seem to understand that like you let the people on the thing get off before you get on, because like how are you gonna get on when people are getting off? So I was kind of relieved that, like I thought we were gonna have to fight our way through the crowd, but I was relieved that it let everyone off on one side before our doors opened. So yeah, but the car was pretty full. There was probably like at least 20 people in it. Yeah, it was a pretty it was a pretty fast ride. Like, I think it only took maybe like 5 minutes. Originally, we'd planned to try to do this like around sunrise so that we could, look at the sunrise from the tram, because I thought that would be cool. But the sun was coming up at like 5 a.m. or something, so we would have had to get up like way before that to actually make it down here. And like by the time I probably went to bed at like 2 a.m. like I said before. But even like Abby went to bed before me, probably didn't go to sleep until 12. We were both tired from getting up early the night before. And I also didn't go to bed until like 2 a.m. the night before because I was editing a video to upload. So we ended up not doing the sunrise thing, which I kind of regretted. But also, like, since the ride was so fast, I don't know if it would have been worth it. Like, it would have been pretty, of course, and then we could have looked at the sunrise from Roosevelt Island. But you got like a nice view of some of the skyscrapers too. For like 5 seconds, but still. It was actually really high. Like, I didn't expect it to be this high, but it didn't really bother me. Even though I don't like heights. I mean, the car was fully enclosed, so I don't know. Yeah, it just didn't bother me. Abby was kind of afraid of the height for some reason. We were both surprised about that. She didn't expect to feel that way.
It's like an amphitheater.
But we were wondering what that thing with like the roller coaster looking track was down there. But yeah, I thought it was like an amphitheater, and that the tracks were for lights or something, like for lighting, rigging, and stuff. But I didn't really know. That was my guess. It was weird being higher than the road on the bridge. But my phone also didn't want to focus.
Where's your ragged in? Where's your ragged in?
So yeah, it was a nice little ride. You got like a really good view. I'd recommend doing this if you come to New York and you like to ride cable cars. I don't know. Roosevelt Island is pretty nice. There's not like a whole lot to do there because it's so small. But originally it used to just be an island that it's in the middle of the East River. I think. I'm just assuming that that's the East River. But it used to just have like hospitals and prisons on it, and it used to be called Welfare Island. But I guess like Roosevelt probably ended up sort of overhauling it and making it better. But now it has like, I think there's a college campus on there. Obviously it has like the ruins of the hospital. I think it has like a library. So we ended up only going to the right, like from this view, the right side of the island, because that's where the hospital was. But apparently there are like some cool buildings that you can see there too. The descent was kind of steep, but we also went like super slow. So, of course, on the island it was windier than it even was in the city. Yeah, the other car was just sitting there. I don't know what was wrong with it, but maybe they only run it during rush hour or something. I don't know. But yeah, the view of, I guess this is the west side of the city. I'm not sure, to be honest, that's just a guess. But when we get farther down, you can see the UN building, the United Nations building, which is also in my book, so that was kind of cool. I'd never seen it in real life either, because it's like just sort of there, like it's kind of tucked away in the city. I like those houses. They're nice houses. Yeah, if you look at that really flat rectangular one, well, you can't see it anymore, but it's like a sort of flat rectangle one. Yeah, there it is again.
Not really.
There's the Chrysler building, a classic New York City landmark. Yeah, there it is. That's like the back of it though.
Building? Yeah. That's where
But yeah, we stopped here to take some pictures with the bridge. I did some dumb poses. And then I switched and took pictures of Abby. I got a bit more of like the skyline in it too. I was like, take a picture of me taking a picture of you. Because I was doing that, and I thought it was funny.
I hit the button, but it didn't actually fucking work. We love that.
I was worried Abby was gonna fall over the side, honestly. it was really like rocky. Like that wasn't straight on the water. There was like a rocky, kind of steep slope down to the water, so it wouldn't have been fun to fall over. And I was like, I have to do it too, of course. And then I was like, this isn't even hard. I was worried I was gonna have trouble balancing. Well, it was not hard. I thought it was kind of cool how like narrow the island was. It was nice being able to see buildings on both sides. And I think over there that's like Queens. I don't know. I'm just assuming because it's the Queensboro Bridge. So it makes sense that it goes to Queens, right? But this was like a park. I forgot what it was called, honestly. But the park has the hospital in it.
Can I go down the bike path?
I was worried. I had read that it's closed on Tuesday. And I was like, why is it closed? It's not a museum or something. It's just the ruins of a building. So I didn't know if we were going to be able to go see it or what. But the park was open. So there's also a feral cat sanctuary.
Ready, go.
Because I guess like when the hospital was abandoned, like, you know, a bunch of stray cats just kind of took up residence there. And they actually built like a little shelter for the cats. And I guess people come and feed them too. So that was just like a little bonus thing. Yeah, here it is. I had read someone complaining in a review that like they didn't get to see any cats. So I was like, are we even going to see any? But there are plenty of cats, don't worry.
Is it friendly? I don't think it's friendly. I don't think it is.
We didn't really interact with the cats at all, because,
Why are they more?
you know, they're cats, they're not like dogs, right? I do like cats, but I'm more of a dog person, because when I was a little kid, I tried to pet, like, an outdoor cat, and I get it come up to me and stuff like that, but then I reached down to pet it, and it bit me. So, I don't know, I've always been kind of wary of cats, but they're really cute, so. There's like geese that were eating the cat food or something. I thought it was cool. There were little like chase lounges there that you could sit in by the waterfront. Obviously, this wasn't really the time of year for that. Yeah, there's one. But there were some people sitting in them, obviously. So, probably be a nice place to hang out in the summer.
Oh, never mind. That's not the statue of Liberty. I want to shake hands with
I just recently seen like a post on Instagram of people like interacting in funny ways with statues, so I was like, I want to do that too. So when I saw the statues, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go shake their hands.
I was wondering how you... Okay.
So I did that. There was like a little stone lip there and I didn't see it. Yeah. Shaking hands. I don't know if that's, I don't know who that guy is, but Abby was like, he looks fucking creepy. He did look kind of creepy, honestly. I don't know if it was JFK or not JFK. Yeah. Why did I say that? I don't know if it was like Roosevelt. But yeah. So this is the hospital. I read online somewhere that they stabilized the ruins and you can actually walk around inside. But obviously we couldn't walk around inside, so I don't know if it is open. Like it just was closed on Tuesday, or like the stabilization project I read about was in like 2009, so I don't know what became of that. I put my phone through the fence, so we took some nice pictures. It was cool. There was like informational stuff that you could read about the hospital. And this, yeah, it was a smallpox hospital, mainly. So, and then it got abandoned and sat unoccupied for years, and they decided to preserve it as like a historical site. So, it was worth it, I think. It would have been cooler to be able to look around inside, though, but I had taken my bag off to take those pictures, and then we were walking to go back to the tram, and I was like, wow, my bag feels so light and free. It's so easy to move all of a sudden, almost like there's nothing on my back. And then I was like, wait, there should be something on my back. And I realized that I just left my bag back there. It hadn't been that long, though, and we hadn't really gotten that far away, so like nothing happened to it, obviously. There there wasn't really anything super valuable in there either, but it was kind of cool being able to see boats go by on the river there. It looked like there was a really strong current though. The water was just kind of churning. So we rode back and didn't get good seats this time. And it was kind of funny because I'd been on a cable car like this when I went on a trip to New Mexico, so I was sort of used to the idea, but when you go over the places where the cables are connected to the towers, like the car bumps around, sort of. Some people in the car were freaking out a little because the car would like tip forward suddenly. But I was just like, I knew about that already. It was really windy in the subway. It was like a wind tunnel or something. It's kind of wild. We ended up in one of the old train cars instead of the nice new one that we were in the first time. This one didn't have like a screen that said what stop it was or anything, so you had to just be aware. And there's the Brooklyn Bridge. I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge anyway. We had actually wanted to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, but it was really cold, and at this point it was probably like 1 o'clock already. So we wanted to go to Japan Village. I think that's what it's called. That's Japan Village there. It's like a Japanese market that has like a lot of restaurants and like a little grocery store and like some cool stuff, like a Japanese bookstore in it. So we went there, but I was having trouble because my phone was literally like dead at this point. I had like 2% battery left from using the GPS and from filming, I guess. So I was like, I need to charge my phone because we are not going to be able to get anywhere if I don't have the GPS. So we literally just sat on the floor and I plugged my phone in so I could just charge it up to like 30% or something. But that also, there was like a film crew filming. I don't know what they were filming, but I thought that was really cute. It was like a stuffed animal. I honestly kind of wanted to buy it, but I might be going to Japan, so I feel like it was kind of, I'll just buy that like when I go to Japan. And I wanted to try this dango. Like, I've always seen it like in anime and stuff, so I just wanted to try some. That was my goal for this trip, and I got it. It was really good. It was like a savory sauce. It wasn't super sweet. And dango is like rice, like mochi rice things. They're kind of like chewy. And then it had the sauce, which was like a soy sauce based glaze, I guess. It was really good, honestly. And I shared them with Abby. So I got to fulfill that life goal. And so this was the second level. And it had a Daiso and like a bunch of little stores and stuff. And it also had like the bookstore, which is really where we were interested in going. There's that film crew again. There's like a sewing store. And yeah, so there's the bookstore. It's just book off. There's like freestanding ones at that store in New York City too. So I had to do that. I felt so dumb, but I had to do it. This is a Gintama poster. I really like Gintama, especially Hichikata and Soko there. Kondo's okay. The other guy that was there. I found this plate in Daiso. It's literally just like a ceramic plate, but I just thought it was pretty, so I was kind of gonna get it. It's 300 yen, which is 300, no, 300 yen. I don't know why I said ma. It was 300 yen. And there was like a price conversion thing. So like 300 yen converted to 450, but that's not how like yen converts. Like the yen is worth less than the dollar, so I don't know, I ended up putting it back, but because I was like, when am I actually going to use this? This area was really pretty. This is the area, like I saw this place on Instagram too, and this is the area that made me decide that I wanted to come here. Or like it made me look into it, and then like especially decide I wanted to come here. So I tried to take a cool picture on the subway. You could see like the whole reflection of the subway car and my reflection, but then when I actually took the pictures, it didn't come out as well. So we ended up going to Times Square because Abby wanted to go to the Sephora. At this point, like I hadn't been filming as much because my phone got up to like 30%, and then it died. It practically died again, just using the GPS to get back from Brooklyn. I was like so paranoid that it would die, and I would have to literally just hail a cab and be like, take us to Hand Train Hall. Without the GPS, I wouldn't know how to get anywhere. I wouldn't know how to ride the subway. Like the GPS tells you like what train to get on, what station to get on at, how many stops to ride for, when to get off. We ended up going to like a bookstore and to the Sephora, and we also went to the Nintendo store. We just stopped in and I like played sat down in the corner, like next to my backpack where my phone was charging, and the guy like saw her sitting down and was like, "You're not allowed to sit down in here. Also, you're not allowed to charge your phone in here." And that kind of pissed me off because, like, I mean, I get it, but also just let me charge my phone, honestly. So I ended up charging my phone up at this bookstore. We spent probably like 30 or 40 minutes hanging out in there. I just like pretended to read. Well, I did read. I didn't pretend, but I just like read some books and stood in the corner while my phone charged, and I didn't get yelled at or anything that time. But toward the end, I sort of got kind of stressed out because like my phone was dying. It was really cold, and my hands were like frozen from holding my phone to look at the GPS. And I honestly, like, crowds of people kind of piss me off because people in crowds just act so stupid. They just like get in the way and stop in the middle of the sidewalk and like bump into you and like do all this annoying stuff. So I was kind of like, I had had enough at this point, so I didn't really film as much. But we just went back to the train hall like maybe an hour and a half before the train came. And I ate a grilled cheese, which was the first, after the dango, that was like the only real thing I'd eaten that day. And so we just sort of sat around and Abby read the book that she had. We actually read that book together while I was getting tattooed. We finished like a whole story with me reading over her shoulder the whole time. Overall, it was a really fun trip. We ended up walking like about 14 miles over the course of those 2 days, so my legs were very sore when we got back. Honestly, they were even sore like the morning after we got there, just from walking around the first day. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a